Have you ever been sitting quietly, perhaps in the evening, the day's tasks finally done, and a thought drifts in, unbidden? Something about the years passing, about how things feel a little different now? Maybe it's a twinge you hadn't noticed before, or a feeling that your energy isn't quite what it used to be. These moments, these quiet recognitions, they often carry more weight than we let on. I'm Dr. Thomas Leighton, and for over 4 decades, I sat with men just like you, listening to their stories, their hesitations, and their hopes. I've listened to retired soldiers, factory workers who gave their lives to labor, and fathers who once hoped but now feel the gentle weariness of time. They all carry a quiet burden, a sense that things are changing, and sometimes an uncertainty about what to do next. If this message speaks to you, type 1. If you're unsure, type 0. Either way, thank you for listening. You see, the body has its own language, especially as we move past 50, 60. It starts to speak in whispers, and it's up to us to listen. The prostate gland, that small but significant part of a man's anatomy, often becomes a focal point of these whispers. It's not just about physical function. It touches on a man's sense of vitality, his confidence, even his emotional landscape. Many men don't give it much thought, this little gland. It does its job quietly, until it doesn't, and then the whispers can become a bit louder. We start to notice changes, perhaps a more frequent need to urinate, especially at night, or a feeling that things aren't quite flowing as smoothly as they used to. These aren't always signs of serious trouble, but they are the body saying, "Pay attention, something is shifting." Now, the video you just heard touched on something quite interesting: the role of regular ejaculation in prostate health. It's a topic that sometimes gets a bit of a smirk or a nervous chuckle, but from a purely physiological standpoint, there's a logic to it. Think of it like this. The prostate produces fluid that's part of semen. When there's regular activity, this fluid is moved along. The system stays, well, less stagnant. When things become less frequent, for whatever reason, there can be a buildup, a congestion. It's not unlike a pipe that hasn't had water flowing through it for a while. This congestion, what doctors sometimes call congestive prostatitis, can lead to discomfort, that feeling of pressure, maybe some mild pain. It's not an infection, but it can certainly feel bothersome. And the simple act of regular ejaculation, whether through intercourse or self-pleasure, can help to relieve this. It's a natural way for the body to maintain a healthy flow, like turning on the tap to keep the pipes clear. It's a mainstream medical observation, something we've understood for some time. But there's a nuance here that's often missed. It's not just about preventing congestion. As we age, there's also the subtle, often silent issue of chronic inflammation in the prostate. This isn't usually caused by bacteria, but more by the wear and tear of time, those metabolic byproducts the body naturally produces. Think of it like the gentle rusting of an old engine. It happens slowly, gradually. And while regular ejaculation can help by keeping things moving, it's not going to stop that underlying process entirely. That's where other things come into play: the diet, the lifestyle. If you're finding this helpful, or you're just starting to think differently about your health after 60, consider hitting the subscribe button. That way, you won't miss future insights made just for men like you. Now, the video also mentioned a possible link between more frequent ejaculation and a lower risk of prostate cancer. This is an area of ongoing research, and it's important not to see it as a guaranteed prevention. But the idea is that by regularly flushing the system, you might be reducing the exposure of the prostate cells to potentially harmful substances over the long term. It's a thought-provoking idea, and the research is certainly something we keep an eye on. But let's step away from the purely biological for a moment. What I've learned over the years is that a man's health isn't just about what's happening inside his body. It's also deeply connected to how he feels about himself. And issues with the prostate, whether it's discomfort or the worry about something more serious, can certainly take a toll on a man's emotional well-being. I remember a patient, a quiet man named Arthur. He was in his early 70s, a retired teacher. He came to see me complaining of vague pelvic pain and a sense of unease. Medically, his tests were mostly normal, but he just didn't feel right. As we talked, it became clear that he was also feeling a loss of connection, a sense that this part of his life, his intimacy, was fading, and that was weighing on him. We talked about the physical aspects, certainly, but we also talked about how important it is for a man to feel vital, to feel connected to himself and, if he has one, to his partner. The idea that something as fundamental as his sexual health might be declining can be deeply unsettling. So, when we talk about prostate health, we're not just talking about avoiding illness. We're talking about preserving a man's sense of self, his confidence, his ability to enjoy life fully. It's about recognizing that these aspects of our health are intertwined. If this resonates, go ahead and type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I read every single one, and they help shape what comes next. Now, the video also touched on self-awareness, on paying attention to your body. This is so crucial. As men, we're often taught to be stoic, to push through discomfort. But the body sends us signals for a reason. Noticing subtle changes in how you urinate, in any discomfort you might feel. These are important pieces of information. And yes, self-examination, in a gentle and non-anxious way, can be part of this. It's about becoming more familiar with your own body, so you can recognize when something feels different. It's not about becoming hypervigilant, but simply being attuned to yourself. Ultimately, taking care of your prostate health, whether it's through regular activity, a healthy lifestyle, or simply paying attention to what your body is telling you. It's an act of self-respect. It's saying, I value my well-being. I'm invested in my future. Let's delve a little deeper into this connection between hormonal balance and prostate health. It's a delicate interplay, much like the workings of a fine watch, where each component influences the others. As the video mentioned, hormones like testosterone and its more potent form, DHT, play significant roles in the life of the prostate. They're essential for its development and function. However, as men age, the levels and the balance of these hormones can shift. It's a natural part of the aging process, but it can have implications for the prostate. For instance, benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, the enlargement of the prostate that's common in older men, is thought to be influenced by these hormonal changes. Now, the idea that ejaculation might have a temporary effect on DHT levels is interesting. It's not about dramatically altering long-term hormone levels, but rather a subtle, momentary shift. Think of it as perhaps easing some of the constant stimulation on the prostate tissue. It's a small piece of the puzzle, but every little bit can contribute to overall well-being. And then there's the more serious concern, prostate cancer. The video rightly highlighted the importance of awareness and proactive steps. The potential link with ejaculation frequency, while still being studied, offers another angle to consider in the context of a healthy lifestyle. It's not a standalone preventative measure, but it could be one of many factors that contribute to a lower risk. What's crucial here is to have a balanced perspective. Relying solely on one thing, whether it's diet or activity or anything else, isn't the answer. It's the combination of healthy habits, regular checkups, and being attuned to your body that creates the strongest defense. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Now, let's talk more about this idea of self-awareness. The video touched on how masturbation can be a way to cultivate this. It's true. When you take the time to connect with your own body, you become more familiar with what feels normal and what doesn't. It's not just about pleasure. It's about noticing if there are any changes in sensation, any new discomfort. These subtle cues can be early warning signs that something might need attention. Ignoring them is like turning down the volume on your body's communication system. I recall another patient, Robert, a man in his late 60s. He'd always been a bit reserved about discussing anything personal. But during a routine checkup, I asked him about any changes he might have noticed. He hesitantly mentioned some mild discomfort he'd been experiencing occasionally. He'd almost dismissed it, thinking it was just part of getting older. But because he'd become more attuned to his body, he recognized that it wasn't his usual state. It turned out to be a mild case of prostatitis that we were able to address. His willingness to speak up, that self-awareness, made all the difference. Beyond the physical, there's also an emotional aspect to this self-connection. For some men, particularly as they age and perhaps experience changes in their intimate relationships, self-pleasure can be a healthy and natural way to maintain a sense of connection to their own bodies and their sexuality. It's a private act of self-care that can contribute to overall well-being. The video also mentioned hygiene, which is a simple but important point, just like washing your hands before preparing food. Maintaining cleanliness during any intimate activity, including self-pleasure, is a basic act of care for your body. And the point about lubricants is also well taken. As we age, tissues can become a bit more sensitive, and using a water-based or silicone-based lubricant can make things more comfortable and reduce the risk of irritation. These small considerations show a gentleness and respect for your body. Ultimately, when we talk about these practices, it's not just about a physical act. When done mindfully, it can become an act of self-love, a way to honor your body and your well-being. It's about recognizing that your sexual health is an integral part of your overall health. As we continue, I want to emphasize that this journey of aging and health is one of discovery, not decline. There are always things we can do to support our bodies and our minds. Did you know that setting the stage for self-intimacy can actually enhance the experience? Taking a few moments beforehand to relax, maybe some deep breaths, a quiet moment to yourself, can make a difference. It shifts it from just a physical act to something more mindful, a moment of connection with yourself. It's also important to address any feelings of guilt or shame that might be associated with self-pleasure. These feelings often come from societal or cultural messages, not from any inherent wrongness of the act itself. It's a natural part of being human, a way to explore and understand your own body. There's no shame in that. To make it even more beneficial, consider adding some variety. Just like anything else, if it becomes too routine, the benefits can diminish. Exploring different ways of pleasuring yourself can not only enhance the physical sensation, but also keep it mentally engaging. Moderation, of course, is key. Like anything in life, balance is important. This practice should enrich your life, not become a replacement for other meaningful activities or relationships. Now, the video briefly mentioned Kegel exercises. These are fantastic for strengthening the pelvic floor muscles. These muscles support the bladder and the prostate, and strengthening them can help with urinary control and even enhance sexual function. The beauty of Kegels is that you can do them almost anywhere, anytime. No one even needs to know you're doing them. Let's not forget about nutrition. What we put into our bodies has a profound impact on our health, including prostate health. Foods rich in antioxidants, like tomatoes, with their lycopene, berries, and green tea, can help protect the prostate cells. On the other hand, processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats can contribute to inflammation, which isn't good for any part of the body. Think of your diet as an act of self-care, nourishing yourself from the inside out. Equally important is your mindset. Having a positive and open attitude towards your sexuality is part of overall well-being. If you have concerns or questions, don't hesitate to talk to someone you trust, whether it's a partner, a friend, or your doctor. And finally, I can't stress enough the importance of regular medical checkups. No matter how healthy you feel, these checkups are vital for early detection of any potential issues. And as the video mentioned, your own self-awareness, including what you might notice during moments of self-intimacy, can also provide valuable information for you and your doctor. In the end, it's about weaving all of these threads together: healthy habits, self-awareness, regular medical care, and a positive mindset to create a tapestry of well-being as you move through life. Now that we've explored this essential yet often misunderstood aspect of health, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you the most? Was there one insight that shifted your perspective, or one habit you feel inspired to adopt? Share the one thing you've learned and will bring into your life in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. So, we've talked about the physical aspects, the importance of activity, a healthy diet, and being aware of your body. But as I've learned over the years, true well-being encompasses more than just the physical. It also includes our emotional and psychological health. And a healthy prostate and a healthy approach to our sexuality can have a significant positive impact on how we feel about ourselves. When a man feels he is taking care of himself, when he feels a sense of vitality, it naturally boosts his self-worth and confidence. This isn't just about physical capability, it's about feeling good in your own skin, and that feeling radiates outward, influencing how you interact with others, including your partner if you have one. The knowledge that you are being proactive about your health, that you are taking steps to maintain your well-being, fosters a sense of empowerment. It's about being in control, rather than feeling like things are just happening to you. And that sense of control can have a profound effect on your overall outlook on life. As we continue these conversations, we'll touch on other important aspects of men's health as we age, recognizing the early signs of prostate issues, exploring exercises that can support pelvic health, and understanding the often overlooked connection between our emotions, stress, and our sexual well-being. It's all interconnected. Now, the video you watched focused quite a bit on masturbation as a tool for prostate health, and we've discussed the physiological benefits. But let's also acknowledge that for many men, it's a private and personal practice. Approaching it with mindfulness, as the video suggested, can indeed elevate it beyond a purely physical act. Taking that quiet time for yourself, free from distractions, can be a form of self-soothing, a way to connect with your own body and your own desires. It can be a moment of self-discovery, a chance to learn what brings you pleasure and comfort. And as we discussed, letting go of any ingrained guilt or shame is important. These feelings often serve no positive purpose and can actually detract from a healthy relationship with your own body. It's about giving yourself permission to embrace this aspect of your sexuality as a normal and healthy part of life. The idea of adding variety is also a good one. Just as you might vary your exercise routine or try new recipes, exploring different approaches to self-pleasure can keep it engaging and enjoyable. It's about staying curious about your own body and what feels good. And the reminder about moderation is wise. Anything taken to an extreme can have unintended consequences. The goal is for this to be a positive and healthy part of your life, not something that overshadows other important aspects. We also touched on the value of Kegel exercises. These simple muscle contractions can have a surprisingly broad range of benefits, from improving bladder control to potentially enhancing sexual function. They're a discreet way to strengthen a key group of muscles that support pelvic health. And of course, nutrition remains a cornerstone. Eating a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats supports all aspects of your health, including prostate health. It's about fueling your body with what it needs to function optimally. Finally, maintaining a positive and open attitude towards your sexuality contributes to your overall well-being. It's about accepting yourself fully and recognizing that your sexual health is a natural and important part of who you are. If you have questions or concerns, seeking out reliable information or talking to a healthcare professional can provide clarity and reassurance. Above all, please remember the importance of those regular checkups with your doctor. They are a vital part of staying on top of your health. And your own self-awareness, those subtle cues you might notice about your body, can provide valuable insights to share with your doctor. In the end, this journey of health as we age is about integrating all these different aspects, the physical, the emotional, the mental, into a cohesive whole. It's about cultivating a deeper connection with yourself, embracing your sexuality as a natural part of who you are, and making self-care a priority in your daily life. By approaching these topics with openness and a willingness to learn, you are taking an active role in your own well-being, paving the way for a vibrant and fulfilling life. Now that we've explored this essential, yet often misunderstood aspect of health, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you the most? Was there one insight that shifted your perspective or one habit you feel inspired to adopt? Share the one thing you've learned and will bring into your life in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you found value in this conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Help others on this journey by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Together, we can create a community where discussions like these empower and uplift everyone. Your health, vitality, and joy are worth it. Let's walk this journey together. This isn't just about health. It's about not giving up on the part of yourself that still feels. If you're still here, it means you haven't given up. So please, don't click like if something in this message touched you, or share it with someone you love, someone who might be struggling in silence. And if you feel ready, just leave a 1 in the comments. That's how we keep this quiet conversation alive.